Okay guys, so today we're going to work, I decided to start with the brakes. We're all set up, we've got a few bits and few tools. I'm not going to bring the whole toolbox out here. And I'm not going to work on the floor, so we're going to put the mower up on the table so I can work around it. Might adjust that slightly, and then we're going to get you set up in a camera. First, I'm going to give it a wash down, blow off, wash down. I don't really want to work on dirty equipment and kind of, it's good timing, isn't it? Plane's going over. I don't want to work on dirty equipment. I've done too many chainsaws that are just covered in junk, and I've kind of got to my tether with it. So we're going to give it a wash down, and then we'll bring you back. We're going to get you set up on the camera. Stands there. We're ready with the air. Ultrasonic cleaner is warming up, doing its thing. So yeah, let's get you set up. Okay, so I guess the first, what I'm going to do, just so I'm not bashing into this every time I walk round, we're going to take the handlebar off. The shroud will come off. Go back under there. These 10. And I've just seen that we were just connected under that lip there. There we go. And just so we don't lose anything, actually, that way's that way. Okay, now we can see a bit more, and we can also see it's really dirty. So I'm going to wash this off. I'll be back in a sec. So I've just sprayed it off with degreaser. It's over there, just letting it soak for a sec. And we're going to find out the model so I can find specs for the amount of oil that it needs, the valves, and also torque specs. If I decide to torque, well, cylinder head bolts will need to be torqued out, but yeah, the rest of them don't. So there we go. Look under the air filter. What do you reckon? Dirty or clean? I'm going to say dirty. Oh, I was right. Let's get this out. Oh, how did that run? All right, let me go put this to one side. And this just pulls up and off. There's nothing holding it down. And now we can see the linkage. We'll take off that little breather tube. Little cover plate that goes together. Oh, we're going to kill onto the coil. That makes sense. Let's just slip that off. Now this should just all come out. Should we take that off? There we go. Let's take that off and actually have a bit of a look. So we've got gasket. So diaphragm is down, then it goes, so it goes gasket, diaphragm, and then it goes in place with a little metal filter. We should be able to breathe through this. This is the main jet. And we can be a little bit restricted. That's clear. It feels just a bit restricted. So this could very well be the issue, just it's not pumping fuel. So there's a spring under there. Is there a little, oh, it's just straight onto a spring. Don't want to damage anything. Up we come. I'm sure they come as a kit, gasket and diaphragm, but I've learnt not to just expect it. Come on. Oh, that came off 99% good. So we certainly don't want to lose that spring. Need to give that a clean. That's going to go in the ultrasonic cleaner. Oh! Let's go for 15 minutes, then let it rest in another 15. I've just called the shop and it's $12 to get a diaphragm and gasket kit. So we're going to replace that. That's fine. Then we might replace the primer bulb, which he's got there, $12. Let's move on. We have rust in this tank. This is evapor rust. I don't know if you've heard of evapor rust. Essentially, it's just like this biodegradable liquid that's safe to touch, and if you put it in your mouth, don't do it, but it's not poisonous, right? So we're going to put that in there. I'm going to leave it for a couple of hours. I'm going to go have a cup of tea, and then I'm going to pop to the shops. We'll get the parts, come back, we'll finish the carb off, and this will be kind of done then. So it'll have a bit of time to do its thing. This is used, and it's not the most effective, but it's like not old enough to throw away just yet. So I'm going right to the top with that. And then we're going to... Oh yeah, nice. I was about to pour some in there, but I don't need to, it seems. Right to the top. That will fill that up. We'll put the lid on. And we're going to leave that there. We could always work on the rest of the mower actually while we're doing that. I would have a cup of coffee, but it's pretty warm. I think these are 13, and that is the ultrasonic cleaner done. That looks good to me. That came off really nice and easy. And then we'll just check, see if there's any play in the valves this end. There shouldn't be any when it's at top dead center on the compression stroke. Let's see where we are. That will spin that way. That was exhaust. This is intake. Compression. So that is good. And that is good there. Yeah, they're sealing really nicely. They're not moving at all. Anyway, because we're here, we're going to check it anyway. I do want to remove this carbon, but if it means damaging the gasket, which it probably does, I'm not going to do it. It's not going to happen. There's very little, it's a very thin layer. It's certainly not bad. And by pulling that gasket off, it's going to make a big mess. So let's leave that off for now, because we might need to take the valves off. And we will pop the valve cover off and we'll check the clearance. So the valves are under this cover here. That muffler is probably just a screw on / screw off muffler. It is. Gosh, I'm surprised that came off easy. I was expecting to get a strap around it. Getting that out of the way just means that we can get to the valves a bit easier. What's 6 mil? 6 mil, I don't know. It's 1/4 of an inch, because there's 4 lots of 6 can go in. This will have another gasket as well, and sometimes, especially on the older brigs, they have a return little hole in them to allow the oil to go back in, to drain back into the crankcase. And on the older machines, you can actually do it the wrong way, and you can actually block that from coming back in. So something to bear in mind. I don't know if they've changed that on the newer models. So, oh, that can come off. And valves. Sometimes it was a little lip in there, but that's not the case on here. Anyway, it's fine. Put that there. I've got some numbers written down. We're going to check the intake, exhaust, and then we might even pop the valves out. We will see. We will see. I just want, maybe we could check just out of my own interest, see how much play there is in the valve guides. So we're at top dead center. Oh, it's worth mentioning. Okay, so 4 strokes have 2 top dead centers. You've got a top dead center between the compression stroke and the power stroke, and you've also got a top dead center between the exhaust stroke and the intake stroke. You need to make sure when you're doing valve clearances or checking valves that you're on the top dead center of the compression stroke. Those 2 valves are going to then be closed. So we'll just double check. We'll turn it in the direction of travel. This is the power stroke. That's exhaust. That's the second top dead center. We don't want that because you can see those 2 valves are moving. You're right on that cam, so you're never going to get an accurate reading. Keep going. That is the intake, and that is then your compression. And you can move this either way, and those valves aren't moving. So that's where we test it. We need 0.13 to 0.18 millimeters. 0.1. 0.1. Let's do 0.15 and see where we are. That's not even going in. So let's try 1/3. 3. That's not a good sign, but let's have a look. And that's not going in either. Oh, it is. Oh, yeah. Oh, do you know what? That's perfect. That really is perfect. That's got a bit of drag on there and no more. So that's tight. And as these wear, they wear into the bore, so they're going to get tighter. That's okay. I don't think I'm going to do anything there. You've got to be careful when you. So these have to come out. They then have to have the base sanded. So just bearing in mind that there is a chance that you could mess them up. So if we don't need to fiddle with it, we won't. The exhaust is 018 to 023. 018. We'll try the tightest. The exhaust feels fine on the 18, so we should be fine to 23. 023. So even at 2.3, yeah, 2.3 is where it is. So both of the intake's on its kind of like limit, but it still feels good, and the exhaust is actually kind of on its maximum allowance. So as that exhaust wears, it will wear into the head, and that will get tighter. Both of them get tighter, but for now I think we're going to leave them. What I might just do now is pop the valves out and just have a quick look at their seats, have a look at the condition of the actual contact surfaces. Give the spring a bit of a squeeze. That's good. And then the keeper falls off. Give it a gentle nudge and it will hopefully push, there we go. Pushes your valve up. The keeper. Again, just besides a bit of carbon, it's really not terrible. I almost feel like there hasn't been a huge amount of use on the engine. Let me see what it's like in the guide. I think these might even be replaceable guides, or at least the intake is. There's a bit of slop in there, but nothing too crazy. I genuinely don't think they need anything. They seal really nicely, the surfaces aren't damaged. Obviously there's a bit of carbon on there, but it's so minor. I don't even really want to remove this carbon. I don't want to scratch this part. It's very, very small. I think I'll do more damage fiddling than I will if I didn't fiddle. So, with that said, let's now have a look at the piston and the cylinder walls. Okay, so I'm not concerned about that oil. There is scuffing in there. Scuffing along there. I can kind of feel it with my finger. Don't feel a ridge up the top. The other side is the same, it's just a little bit of scuffing, almost like it's been run low on oil and it hasn't really had the lubrication it's needed. That's just speculation, of course. But certainly not terrible, nothing that jumps out and makes me think, oh no. I mean, it's still got the machine marks, you can still see the machine marks on it. So look, there is scuffing, but it's nothing terrible. We're going to run a compression test over this anyway, or we're going to run through a compression test anyway. So let's get these valves put back in place. We're going to start with the exhaust. We're going to give a little bit of, make sure that's actually fully dry. That's good. Just a little bit down there. It's so stringy. And then we'll pop just a little bit on the valve stem. Good. And then I've already compressed the spring ahead of time. Here's one I've done earlier. It's one of those. Right, you're kind of in my way, but I'm going to do what I can do. And now I just need my little magnet. This is going to be tricky with you guys in the way. Right, let me just reposition you. See what I mean? Alright, valve goes in, give it a gentle shaky wakey. I think this job was fiddly.
Okay. There we go. To make sure we're fully on, let's give it a bit of a spin. It should position itself nicely. It says. There we go. And that little opening, that little mouth faces us. And that is that valve done. Let's spin it a couple of times. Okay. Nice. Very nice.
If you haven't got a valve tool, this is a tip that I found online and I really like it. I've only got one hand, so bear with me. So put it in, compress it. Don't let it bounce out and hit you. Get yourself some cable ties, like that, and let me just prop you up. Put one on. And then position it like so. You've got one there. And do one more. This side. Like that. And now be careful because it might break the cable ties if they're rubbishy, but we'll see. No. So now it's scary. And now we have a spring compressed with cable ties. We're now going to go fit it. You see? Now where are we? There. That then goes in. And then we're going to pop our keeper in place. Ah, I had it and I lost it. There we go, we got it. Okay, now we're going to push that valve down, push that keeper in. We're going to snip, cable tie. That's one, pull it out. Make sure your keeper's still good, which it is. Snip the other one. That's on, pull that out. Move this round because we need to just do the final positioning. Gently put that in place. As soon as I was just finishing up, my phone told me the storage was full. Okie dokie. Right, so we need to put the valve cover back on. That needs to be picked up too. And the valve cover is part of this. Gasket's fine. Make sure I'm on that third setting again so nothing can get separated. There and there. That's good. What I'm going to do is put the head back on. I'm going to zap it up and then I'm not going to torque it because I still need to put on. We should check to see if that head's flat, shouldn't we? It is flat. That's fine. I need to put on the governor and all that, and that I have to put the carb on at the same time as that. So this is just going to be lightly snug for now because they're going to come off anyway. This is where this setting comes into its own. Watch this. They're not even hand tight, but they're on. Muffler next. It's on. So with your pull cord, there are a couple of ways of doing it. You can just pull the whole coil at the recoil out and stop it. we got? I think that's probably that. And then you can clamp that in place, cut this off, pull the rope up, put it in your end and spin it back in. That's what I'm going to do on this one. Sometimes I have a little notch cut out in there and you can wind it and wind it and wind it. That's more convenient. You can't do that on this. So that's fine. Let me go get a clamp. Probably do it without, but let's try without, stuff it. It's not going to be the end of the world. Right, I'm going to cut it. Pull that out on the inside. And then we need to measure that length. Melt the end. There's my little lighter gone. Sorry, I just haven't got my other hand to spare. There we go. Feed this through that hole. In there. Do a double overhand knot. Come on. 1, 2. Give it a pull. Lighter. Push that in there, like so, and we'll just let it take it back in. There you have it. This is a slightly thicker rope. I did go for a slightly thicker because that's all I had at the shop. I bought a big, like, I think it's about 10 meters. I think I bought in the end. I would like 3.5, but I could only get 4.5. Anyway, it's fine. Okay. Yet another double overhand knot. 1, 2. Pull it up to the knot. And that is brand new rope done. Take this label off now. I've got some still VarioClean. Something in those lines. It's a really, really good degreaser and cleaner. You get, look at that. Looks like it's never been changed. You just scrape that off. So, don't get this in your eyes. Let's move on to the mower blades. These are going to come off. Spark plugs disconnected from the H2 lead, so it's not going to cause us any issues. 14, 16, 18. Imperial. Yeah, that will fit. That's nice. It's funny how some fit really snug, the interchangeability. In fact, some metric bits fit better than Imperial bits. This tool is so good. It really is. So you've got the blade. Yeah, it really doesn't look that bad. I mean, it's certainly worn. It needs a good sharpen and a balance. It's really not that bad. Yeah, I'm just having a quick look before we sharpen that blade. Did Briggs really want you to pour the oil out of the fill hole? Or is it just hidden and the whole thing has to come off? So that fill is just an absolute nuisance. But anyway, we'll make it work. Let's get my mask on. We have right angle die grinder. Let's try and follow this bevel. Warm, it's not hot. Just making sure I'm not overheating anything. That's it, now we've got a bear. Now just because I'm OCD, I'm going to clean it up. Lovely. Okay, that's the bevel. And if I pull this across, you'll see the burr. You see, where is it? There, can you see that wire edge? So we're just gonna do the other side, then we're gonna balance it, make sure it's even, and then we're gonna remove that burr. But we've got the burr all the way along, which is key. That just shows the edge is sharp. So, sorry, I don't think you can even hear me. So I've sharpened both sides. I haven't removed the burr yet. You see that side and that side. They've been sharpened and that's fine. And now I need to balance it. Now I've seen people put a screw on and they kind of hang it there and they watch what happens. And that's slightly heavy on that side. And then Steve's Small Engine Saloon said that that's not a very good way of doing it. Instead, balance the blade on something round, put it in the middle, and see where it wants to go. So if I put that there, sorry, not sure how much you can see from where you are. Let me see if I can do it in a better angle for you. So that's central there. And that one wants to drop down this side. So let's see that screw and see if it drops down that side. Very interesting, and that's what he said. He said this screw method isn't particularly accurate. It doesn't seem to be. So going with his method, thank you, Steve. He said, put it in the middle. So it's that side that wants to drop. Let's just see if it's the same side the other way out. Yeah, that wants to drop that side. So this end, apparently, is the side that wants to drop. So that's the side we need to remove some steel off. There. There. And for good luck, let's see if it now drops towards us. Yeah, it does. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a bit more off this side and see if, yeah, we can get that a bit more balanced. So I'm not going to bother doing it on camera. You know what I'm doing, I'm just sharpening it a bit more. I've just taken a bit more off. I really don't know how much I'm going to have to take off to get it. So this side was the side that dipped, and that's the side we've sharpened. So let's see if it still dips. That's right in the middle. And it's not dipping, in fact. Oh, I moved it. That's pretty central, isn't it? Got a tiny bit more to go. Oh, look, we're so close here. I think we're pulling hairs. We're splitting hairs, that's the saying. So, sharpened. I'm just going to go over the back just gently to brush that burr away. In fact, I could just do that in front of you now. Probably better do this with some Scotch-Brite, but
That's all I'm going to do. Make sure that burr's gone. There we go. Now it's gone and it's sharp. Let's do this side. I'm pretty much holding it flat. You can see where I'm scratching the metal there. I'm not going at an angle like this. Push it back and forth a couple of times and then it'll break away. In fact, that's done. It's off there. It's off there. That's it. That's a sharp blade. So let's just zip it up with the impact. I'll give it a couple of wraps, and then we will torque it. So, keep my hand away. I don't want to catch it. Had a much closer look at this, and I can see actually now it's gone all the way through, so we're gonna have to replace that. See my finger on the back? So we have our prime bulb. So Mixed Mowers, you were right, mate. You said that it's probably got a little hole in it and it had that little crack in it, so I appreciate thank you guys for the comments, Mick, and someone else answer the question about the spring. So yeah, much appreciated. Let's get home and we will fit this and we'll check the passages are clear and we'll go from there. Be careful we don't break anything. Okay. We'll see if those few hours have made any difference. I think really it needs at least 24 plus, but let's just have a little look and see what we've got. Oh dear. Let's go get some bolts because there is still stuff in there. Put a little bit of that back in. So I did my best. There is still some rust in there, but certainly not terrible. There's a bit of rust down there, a bit of rust on the other side down there, but all in all, it's not bad, and it's not going to have any more than that. Okay, let's get this put back together. Now we've got everything clear. This has all been blown out, and I put some fuel in there, sloshed it around, and blew that out as well, just because it would give that a little bit. It's actually two-stroke petrol, so the little bit of oil will stop it flash rusting. Those have both been blown out, those have both been blown out, and as I said, the new primer's on. That's clear. We've got a bit of gasket, just make sure that's, don't want any gasket material. So now we need to put the parts together, and here it is. Any surfaces ever that have been machined, always check that they're flat and they're square. I've checked that. Same with like the cylinder head and stuff. Just make sure they're flat and square and they're not warped. And that goes there. Springs in place. Goes in there. Now we need to get this back on the mower. Let's get the mower back up on here. 3, 2, 1. Governor, linkages. Yeah, that's our kill. Then that one I think went on to there. Oops. Good. And those are the head bolts that go onto there. Let's just zip those head bolts off. And then that's going to go there. Now we have this to go on next. Now we need to get the governor spring. Does it go in the big one or the small one? I think it goes in the big one, right? That then goes on to here. That goes on to there. Let's zip that up. So just snug, I'm not going tight, because then I can manipulate and move things around. So we've got that on there, that pulls that. That needs to go, what's going on here? Onto there. There we go. That goes onto there. Now, what I'm going to do, I need to put a bolt on there, don't I? Now what I'm going to do is just check everything with a photo. Back in a sec. The end one's a 10. That's nice. Right, let's gap the flywheel next. Don't ever do it. Okay, so we've done the gap. Make sure it's not touching. Let's take the spark plug out and we will, it's going to be a new one, isn't it? Let's take the spark plug out and we will go clean that up in the wire wheel. Yeah, it's got some carbon. We'll double check the gap too. Gonna gap it. We're just the 7.5. It's bang on. Did you see any of that? Hopefully you did. Okay, good. And now just giving it a quick once over the wire wheel. I think it's it's a champion plug. Some people like them, some people don't. But anyway, let's put that back in. Then we're going to torque the head, That's pretty good. Yeah. Nice. Don't over tighten that. Next step is torquing cylinder head bolts. So we are 12 foot-pounds on those, and they're 13s. There's my 13 one. £12 foot-pounds. So much cleaner now, look at that. Totally different. Lovely, lovely. Oh yeah, fuel cap. Okay. I'm missing a bolt somewhere, so I'm going to put them all on except the one I can't find. So it might make a bit of a buzzing sound until I've found it. It must be an 8. Ah, you silly Billy.
They look so much better without this plastic cowling on it. That really literally just sits like that.
That's the one I need to replace. That bolt, I need to find it.
We'll find it when we put things away. Okay.
Found it. We're going to put some 2-stroke mix in here, even there's a 4-stroke. It's fine. I'm not going to get through enough to have 2 containers like this. Okay. Right, let's just double check the engine oil. I expect it to smoke a huge amount because I've had it tilted around left, right and centre, so inevitable that that will be the case. Yeah, we've still got engine on. Right, let's go to the park.
Okay, moment of truth. First start since the
Rebuild. Right, let's give it a couple of pumps. Need to make sure we're on run. Hasn't got quite, I need to just adjust this linkage slightly. I can't do it now, but it's just not quite turning off when I cut the throttle off. So that's where it needs to be, but we'll have to delve into that and see why it's not going. It looks, it's too tight there. That's why I need to put some slack into this, into that. I'm going to do that. We'll do it in a bit. Let's warm it up. So what it is when I put this cable back on, I didn't put enough slack into this line, so it can't return all the way. See it's pulling on that. So that's fine. Let's just run it full throttle. We'll do a bit of cutting. Look at that. And then we'll change the oil. Have a look at the RPM. It should be about 3,000 to 3,600. We're going to go over there. There's a lot of grass there. Lift it up a bit. Don't want to hit any rocks or wood or anything. Go fix that, change the oil, and we'll double check it. I just broke my flip-flop. Damn. Well, this should be giving it a little bit more. It needs to pull it in more and it's not. Let's have a look. RPM and everything is good. No issues there. It's running at perfect RPM. There's just something not quite right. So that. I feel like there should be a. Oh, guys, I can't figure it out. What's going on? It doesn't want to pull itself. I feel like there should be something that wants to pull it to that point. It doesn't. It wants to stop early. Is it a bit bent? I don't know. Let's just loosen that up and see what happens. If we take that off, see if it's just an alignment issue. Full throttle. I don't know what wants to pull that round. Nothing by the looks of it. I feel like something's bent. Right, I'm going to have a bit of a look and think, and then I'm going to bring you back. It's just clicked. I've just remembered. When I don't think this is standard. I think something's probably been tweaked here. Let me know if it's not the case. This is the reason. There was a cable tie on there, and I cut it off so I could take this off, and I'd forgotten I'd cut it off. I don't think Briggs would have a cable tie on here as standard. I think someone's been fiddling, but we'll see if that will fix the issue. And then we're going to have a look for an actual sensible solution if it's not OEM. Let's try that. Yeah, you see? That now connects. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. So I don't think that's OEM by any stretch of the imagination, but we're going to leave it and we're going to put it back together, and then we're going to go, we're going to change the oil. Let's go change the oil. Alright, this is going to go terribly, but we're going to do it. Stuff you, Briggs. That's a really bad design. You're peeing out fuel too. Stop. Well, at least I knew it was going to go everywhere. I'm not going to edit this part out. That's it. Not doing any more. Sorry, Greenpeace. I messed up on that one, didn't I? Let's go. Get rid of that. With some degreaser. Back in a sec. But at least it's warm.
We got it. We got it. Luckily, Super Cheap degreaser is really good. Thank you, Super Cheap. What oil spill?
10W30. Reckon I'm going to spill this too. Let's measure that. It might actually be done. I think that might be bang on. Yeah, that's absolutely. But it's screwed in. I don't know whether Briggs want you to screw it in to test it. Some you do, some you don't. Better to be slightly under than slightly over, I reckon. We are literally bang on. Bang on. Perfect.
All right, you're coming with me. We're going to go right into the middle and we're going to see if we can find these long grass. I don't think there's any in the middle, but we're going to look. Look at it. No, I see some. Woo! Sorry, there's a bee's nest over there. All right, here's the grass. Oh my gosh. Okie dokie. Run. Not going to give it any pumps. All right, maybe I will. Comes out quicker. All right. What have I done? Nothing? Do you just want a few more? Doesn't sound right. All right, let me prop you up. Right, what's changed? That little cable's restricting it from getting enough RPM. You see? I'll tell you what, I'm going to take it off. I'm going to have to reevaluate that. That's not even gone to full throttle either. Actually works now. need a cable tie after all. Let's put a stick in there. Just from building up. Oh, dropped you there, sorry. Right, try again. On. All right, there we go. Job done, finished. So in total it cost me $19. I put a new carb kit in there, well I call it kit, diaphragm and gasket, and a new primer bulb. Valves were all checked, everything was checked, everything was gone over, and it's a bit overexposed. That's better. And it's great, it runs beautiful. So what I'll do, we're going to take it back, we're going to blow all the grass off, we're going to spray it over with Lanotech, we're going to clean it up, make it look beautiful, and put it up for sale. Lanotech. And a pair of underwear that you no longer use because they've got big holes in them. This makes anything look like it's new again. Shininess will just... Bit of old Scotch-Brite. Let's see if we can get some of this rust off. We'll go over to Lanotech. Yeah, we can. Alright guys, we're done. That's the job done. It's been great fun. I appreciate you watching it and commenting and sharing your thoughts. I don't want to hear about... oh, sorry. I forget to close that all the time. She gets angry. I don't want to hear about PPE, you know, wearing flip-flops and lifting that lid up. I know stones can hit. I know all that. I don't need to be told that. So if that's what you're planning on writing in the comments, don't even bother. Don't waste your time. Don't waste mine. But there we go. Look how nice plastics come up with that stuff. I mean, you could just do it with WD-40, but the difference is this is thick and it really kind of lasts. I've tried it with other oils and stuff, and I just find they don't quite last as well, that's all. So I'd put it on the next, 5 days' time, once it's been in the sun for a bit, it would go back to kind of faded plastic, whereas the Lanotech, it doesn't. So there we go. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with me and working on this rebuild. It was great. Really enjoyed it. We need to go back to the dump and see if we can find a bagger for it, but couldn't be happier. Cheers, guys. Bye.